both in Britain, Europe and around the world.
Sorry, Pierce, start again.
Right, the assessment of our March forecast is very good and shows considerable advances. But generally, stark contrast plus some spells of heavy rain and thunderstorms with floods and strong winds, wintry at times in Britain, has been borne out very well.
And the warm spell.
And the warm spell.
Except it was a bit more widespread than we thought.
Probably, yes. Although, of course, our graphs for spring months, or this or March, were about average temperatures of day and night divided by 2. So we did have some warm days, but we had cold nights as well. So on the graph, it doesn't show as a big deal. However, May onwards, we'll do maxima because we're in the summer half of the year. So April.
Just pick you up on the March forecast. We nearly made a small fortune in March.
Ah, yes.
There was a forecast. Piers said it would have a deluge of rain.
That's right.
At the start of the month, and William Hills and many other bookmakers were offering very generous odds on the going price for Cheltenham races, and they had a significant amount of rain on the eve of Cheltenham, but Lincolnwell missed the racecourse. It went everywhere else. They had an inch of rain in that part of England, and we didn't make a penny out of it, but we got 50 to 1. So it was worth a risk. And it must have been close. That's all I can say.
That's good. No, I'm very pleased with that. I was in New York at the time, wasn't I?
Yeah. And we got.
We had
you
two
sent,
challenges, but there was a big one, 9th and 10th.
That's right. You sent us some details on it.
Well, the one that got away. However, if we do a few more of them, 50 of them, we'd be right probably 40 times, 80% or so. So we would have made.
Well, your forecast was right. It's just that
the race course was.
That race course was in the wrong place.
The wrong way.
Okay. So that was British Isles March. Very good. In terms of the world extremes, we where are they? They're in the back, aren't they? Page 4. There we are. The world extremes, which we announced at the last press conference, and put them on the web, and also announced them at the Heartland conference in New York, and that was for the 15th to 17th of March. We had 3 things: severe gales in Scotland and the North Sea, which happened. We had our heavy snow and rain in central Canada, USA and northeast USA, which happened, but not probably as severe as we implied. But there was definitely things going on.
But presumably that's led into this huge flooding in Minnesota.
Yes, but a lot of that was from snow melting as well. So there was a mixture of snow melt and heavy rain, which led to that flooding. So we don't claim that it's all from the rain. However, it was a success, but it wasn't, it was more kind of spread out over time and space than perhaps we'd expected. But these are trial forecasts. And the third thing, though, was a spot-on direct hit, which we said there would be a tropical cyclone forming off northwest Australia.
Which it did. It's called Isla.
It formed in that time window. It was called Isla, and just to prove we were right, as it was forming, another one was formed in the South Pacific called Tropical Cyclone Ken, which was after young Ken.
It's called after me.
It was called after him.
So it was Jay.
We've no doubt gods are on our side, and they said we'll have one called Ken now.
Just in time.
A couple of days before, they thought a cyclone would not form off Western Australia, so it's not expected.
That's right. They were talking, it's something going on, but in fact it happened in the time window. In fact, it was just a few hours before the end of the session.
Which is within the day and a half.
Well, but it was formed within the time window.
Yes.
Because on the North hours on the 17th in universal time, i.e. GMT, it was down as tropical cyclone number 22, which they then decided they then look up the list and decide the name is Isla or Ilsa, one or the That's very good. The other thing that's as good about March was that the SWT 25D forecasts, which are about equatorial events on the sun, those 2 time windows were confirmed with ferocious thunderstorms, winds, and a lot of errors in short-range forecasting, i.e. everything suddenly happened a lot quicker. That was the 9th and 10th of March, was one special SWIP, as we called it then.
Very strong winds,
That's right.
very nasty squall.
And the 22nd to 25th of March. And on that one, we had an exciting little email from one of our clients.
Nick.
Yes,
You
Nick.
put that up?
He says here, Nick Bliss, a hiker. He emailed me on the 24th of March, said, just a note of congratulation. I can't say that I check your forecast that often because I'm normally only interested in when I'm walking. But I was looking at the BBC forecast the other day and thinking how they got it wrong again. I thought I'd check to see whether you had got the recent spell of spring weather and then the change to the ghastly stuff we've got today. And hey presto, absolutely spot on. If I was sitting down and describing the weather as it is now, meaning the 24th, and the BBC seemed to be struggling even to do that, I couldn't have done it better than your forecast from whenever you did it.
Which was in February.
Yeah, which is in February.
A month before.
That's right.
But we probably could have done that the same a few months before.
Yeah, we could have, yeah. We could have done it.
Publish it because it's not interesting to people.
No, that's too far ahead then. It's uncanny. In the old days, they'd have labelled you a druid or a witch and probably would have strung you up.
Yes, quite right.
He's a witch.
I've been it now.
That is to come. Well, given George Monbiot, who wants people to storm banks, or rather his mates want us to storm people to storm banks, also thinks that people like me should be go before Nuremberg-style courts simply for disagreeing with him. I do wonder. I'm glad they don't do witches anymore, but I should think George Monbiot would like them to.
It's all changing.
Good name for a website, it's Climate Witches.
That's a good one. Okay. Now, let's just go on to next things. Yeah, we will, just going back quickly to the graphs and so on, we will do a lot more work on those. Judy will help produce that graph, sent her apologies today, but there is a need to do work quite quickly. And in terms of publication, I think, Kirill, you'll be interested in this. What we have to do is publish what we did in New York, essentially. Yeah. And, you know, with input from you and Judy, and stick, you know, your names on it as well.
What are you going to publish it?
Where?
Where?
Don't know. Open to suggestions.
Okay.
But there's various, there's the Journal of Astronomy and Astrophysics, for example. Don't know.
Should say.
We should see. There might be some better ones. We want somewhere that has got a weight. Well, we could send it off to Nature and see if we could get it. Listen to this. See if we can get it refused quicker than everything else that's been refused. Because at the conference there were some very funny jokes where someone announced, "I'll send this off to Nature," and it was refused after just a week.
Oh, it's quite long.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it's a few hours.
But then exactly.
If not minutes.
Then one of them stood up. It was Fred Singer. He said, "I can beat that. I was refused after only 3 hours." So they hadn't even read it. They said, "Oh, Singer,
forget
it." So,
lots of stories that like that.
I'd like to see if we get it done in 3 minutes. We could hold the record, and then we can go to.
It's not what we're aiming for. It's more
The Journal of Terrestrial and Atmospheric Physics was
probably the best one. Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, do you have to pay for publications here?
Ah.
Sounds like the American Journal. Well, we should work it out.
A paging charge, yeah, the bastard. It stops people saying too much, doesn't it? Okay, but this sort of stuff will have to be funded, so we have to sell forecasts. But I think the thing to do is, we have the long-range forecast, so we say to governments and these people that say they're saving the people of the planet as opposed to the planet, i.e. from drought and so on, that look, if you want to know, it's going to cost you. And it's going to cost you less than you're going to save by being prepared. So what about it? You know, if they say no, we can just say, well, okay, that just proves where you stand. Namely, it's more important to defend your mad ideology, which is aimed at profiteering out of climate hype, than it is to actually save lives and, you know, see where they stand. I think I know where they stand. They're more interested in profiteering than saving lives. But when the public realise that, they're not going to be too pleased. And in fact, I think the public will get angry in the course of time. However, more of that later. I just want to say a bit about April.